Welcome to our podcast, Learn Biblical Greek, brought to you by Dr. William Stewart, the co-founder of Teleios. This captivating podcast teaches you biblical Greek through a verse-by-verse study of the book of Ephesians, interjecting Greek grammar, Greek word meanings, and vital theology concepts. Thanks for joining us on this exciting biblical journey. Your study will be more effective if you use the Greek text with the Bible word codes, either on the eSword download or Bible Hub website. These links are on our podcast website at www.teleiosresearch.com.
Hi, I'm William Stewart, co-founder of Teleios. Welcome back to our podcast on learning biblical Greek. As I often say, what a privilege it is to learn the Bible in its original language, the Greek, so we can better know God, so we can be an even better faithful and obedient servant. Let's go to the text. We're in Ephesians 4, verse 22. So the first word here is a verb, a little difficult. Apotithemi is the dictionary form, so we know it has a prefix, apo, no augment. Theta epsilon is the root word. So now this root word comes from tithemi, to put or place, and it's a me verb. So remember the mi comes off the reduplicated consonant, and epsilon comes off at the front, leaving the theta eta. So then we have thigh, which is the infinitive ending for the middle and passive forms of the verbs, except the aorist form of the passive aorist. So this being a thigh, and we have a change in the roots, then that tells you it is, and so it's not present tense. It tells you it's aorist. It has to be middle, because the passive would have a different ending for the aorist in the infinitive. So this is to be placed off, basically. So tithemi, to place, apo, off, place off, is the infinitive, to be placed off. I hope that makes some sense. There's no SA here because it's a second aorist. There's a change in the root. So that means the SA is not there. Umos, U plural, that AS is the accusative ending. Kata, preposition. It's taking the accusative here. Teen, proteron, and a strophene. So the A to N is all the accusative feminine singular, the earlier life. Terra in the proteron is the comparative, so earlier life, as we would say in English. Anastrophe in the King James is translated communication. It doesn't mean communication. I think this is taken from the Latin, which means in communication, communicatio, I think in the Latin. Lifestyle, anastrophe is lifestyle. Kata, taking the accusative here, means then regarding, very close to the genitive. Remember, these prepositions in the epistles generally take abstract meanings. They're usually by means of or according to, regarding. So according or regarding to the earlier man. And then we have tone, palion, anthropon, okay, all ending in on. So this is the accusative singular masculine. You see, in both cases, the adjective is going before the noun that can do this. Usually it goes afterwards. So I think it's here in both cases for emphasis, okay, emphasizing the earlier man and the earlier lifestyle and the old man. Now, there's no conjunction between these two, so they're opposed to each other. So yes, you can do this in Greek according to the prior lifestyle, the old man. Then we have tone theomino. Okay, so this is tone is probably best translated here, which or who, taking the relative pronoun, even though it's in the form of an article. And that's because I think there's so many accusative singular masculines in a row here. So if theron is to degrade, deteriorate, and it is in the form of a verb, and you see there's no prefix, there's no augment, but we have that men, which is a sign of the participle in the passive and middle, with the on, accusative masculine singular ending. So this would be corrupted, okay, which is corrupted. Kata again, but this time it's taking the genitive, the singular and the feminine. Tas emethumios. Again, the matching ending of the article, and the noun tells you it's a first declension in terms of epithumios. So again, even though it's taking the genitive, it still means like regarding or according to, very close to the accusative we saw up above with kata. So according to the lusts of the seat, tis apathes, and or it could be actually lustful deceit, and the lust of deceit, lustful deceit, and with the emphasis being, even though you have two articles here, the article in front of the second one again is emphasis on, maybe an equal emphasis on both. So from all this we get, and you have put off concerning the former behavior, the old man, which is corrupt according to deceitful lust, or the lust of deceit, maybe more proper, but that's just me. Okay, thank you for joining me today. And what we've covered here is that we know from verse 21 that they have learned the way of Christ. In verse 20 and 21, the truth is in Christ, and you've put off in the eros the former man, the former behavior, the old man, and which was corrupted. So this was in the eros. Otherwise, this happens at salvation. It's our spiritual baptism as described in Romans 6, Ephesians 2, in the Galatians 3, Colossians 2, where we're identified with the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Putting off the old man, being born again, are like terms. So that old man died away, and it's associated sin when somebody believes. So it's a very important aspect of our salvation. And then the corrupted is in reference to that old man. So it's in the present tense. As long, as long as the old man was there, there was a continuous corruption, if that makes sense. Okay, challenging verse, challenging language, Greek, but it has its fruit. So thank you for joining me. We'll continue with this really great discussion of our transfer from the prior man to the new man, which can serve God. And then we'll come to some positive commands here in just a few verses. Okay, see you next time.